feet.
All right, here we go. You may be seated. All right. First of all, I'd like to say that I am humbled and honored that you all chose me to be the judge in this case that I already agree with Ellis on.
Here,
I
here.
promise to try and be balanced and humbled, and I want you to know that as you voted me a representative of you in whatever hell that works, I just want you to know that I'm going to take this seriously, and I want to judge, provide a true judgment that is pure based on your arguments. That being said,
Well
let's
said,
get
Your
fucking
Highness.
started. All right. So, what was it we're arguing today, Bailiff? The book 1984? Something about...
No, that would have been an interesting suit.
Yeah.
This is Wonder Woman 1984.
Wonder Woman. The movie. The first one was good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
And the second one,
They made a second one?
1984.
That's the one that's... Oh, yes. The Thor Ragnarok knockoff. Got it. All right. Well, let's start here. Let me get this, make sure I have this clear, Blake. Ellis is arguing the majority opinion of people, that is, that this movie sucks. And Mikey is arguing the opinion of one, that it's not that sucky that you shouldn't watch it. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. I'm sure this is all going to go well. This air is something else. Okay. All right. Should we do some opening statements? Is that how this works? What's a bailiff? How does this work? I know what a judge is, right? Like, I'm just the judge. Are you like my sidekick here?
Yeah, kinda, I suppose.
Okay. Sidekick.
I'm like the Dwight to your Michael.
Oh, let's go Robin and Batman.
For those
we all
two
know
Office
that's
fans out there.
world, right? Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like
let's keep
that.
it
You're not
DC.
DC, bro. You're like Robin or something. Like,
Well,
not
he's
one
like-
of the cool Robin.
He's like Nightwing. Okay.
All right.
Graduated to his
Sure.
own.
I don't remember.
At least I
saying
will be
you
when I
could
graduate
talk,
the
sir.
police academy.
I am the judge, and I didn't say you could talk. What? The nerve. You know what? Just for that, Mikey gets to go first on the opening statements.
I'm sorry, Your Excellency.
Yeah, keep it in
Starting to
line,
think that Mikey
Ellis.
is making a good point about what was the movie? Or 1924. This is the Gatsby one.
No, that's the Great Gatsby.
Sorry, I'm tired. All right, here we go. Now, Mikey, I didn't say you could fucking talk either.
What do
You
we
know
do
what?
now, Judge?
Just for that, Blake, give me an opening statement. Have you seen this movie?
I have seen this movie.
How do you feel
And-
about it?
Like the majority of people, I believed it was 2.5 hours of my life that I'm never getting back.
Yeah, I missed those 2.5 hours too. But, you know, I mean, unbalanced or balanced or whatever the hell this is. All right, you know what? Thank you, Blake. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Ellis, pick a number.
4.
Mikey, pick a number.
8.
The number I was thinking of was 2. So Ellis goes first. Opening statements. Ellis, explain to us why this movie sucks.
Your Highness, thank you very much for allowing me to address this court. I believe that the people who have been unfortunate enough to have witnessed Wonder Woman 1984 have been irreparably damaged for life. I believe that this movie is not only shitty, but it makes people who watch it shitty. As I'm sure you will see when the defendant tries to defend this piece of trash movie. I think I can argue this thing's front ways and backwards. I have 3 basic fucking points. Number 1, this movie fucking sucks. And I would argue that Wonder Woman hasn't been good since the second act of Wonder Woman Part 1. I would say that this movie makes the entire franchise fucking suck. And furthermore, completely makes the DCEU, or whatever the fuck they were trying to make, also suck. All right? As far as it is a movie, I would say it's not worth watching because number 1, It fucking sucks, which I will prove throughout my arguments. Number two, because you've seen this movie before, okay? The special effects are mediocre at best. It's children's writing. This is not a movie that's going to have any impact going on in the future either. So it's completely worth missing. And number three, it's 2.5 hours. You guys have already said it. 2 hours and 31 minutes. I would say that the defense could copulate with himself 143 times during the amount of time that it would have taken him to watch that movie. And that would have been more productive. All right. And he probably was while he was watching the movie. Hence, he gave it a favorable note because that's the only thing I could think of. He was high out of his mind. And that is my statement. Your Excellency, thank you.
All right. Very well done. All right. Good argument. Mikey, I'm ready for your opening statements. I would like for you to address me as Cruella Gaville from now on. Please. Go ahead. Opening statements.
Well, Cruella Gaville.
Gaville. Dude.
Objection.
Oh,
Objection.
My apologies, Cruella Gaville.
Tell me the name's good.
The name's good. I love the name.
Mikey, tell me your stupid shit. Go.
Hey, he said to tell you your stupid shit.
Thank you, Nightwing.
Do it.
When I first heard Ellis's opinion on Wonder Woman 84, I was a little surprised. He hated it. Said it was absolute trash. He couldn't enjoy it. In fact, if you enjoy it, you yourself are trash. I disagree. I enjoy this movie to a certain extent. It's not the greatest movie. It's not the worst movie. It's an okay movie. It's a movie. You know, you can enjoy this movie if you really let yourself. This movie was made intentionally bad to be in line with Superman the movie, the Donnerverse Superman movies, the Wonder Woman television series.
Are you arguing that those were made bad on purpose?
No, I'm arguing those were made bad just because they skipped a lot of things. They were just bad movies. This movie was made bad to be in line with those movies. In fact, because
you said, why would you make that bad?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What movies are these? I'm sorry. What movies are these?
The Superman Donnerverse movies, Superman 1, and the 30 movies that followed, Superman 2, Superman 3,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Ellis, are you taking notes?
I'm a lawyer. I have to hear. Look,
you're taking notes.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Very impressive. Very impressive. All right, Mike, continue. What is it? A pen?
Okay. No.
You got a pen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Very impressive, Mikey. All right.
Because Man of Steel was made in line with the original Superman, the movie from 1970, fucking like 8, I think it was, or 77. This movie is also made in line with that movie, just bad because those movies were just bad. You know, yes, there's parts that are problematic, but there are parts where I believe a suspension of disbelief is okay because it's just a fun movie.
What parts are problematic?
Issues of consent and the lack of explanation in regards to what happens to some people's when their bodies are taken over by dead men.
But isn't the whole thing with being a superhero is you disregard?
Wait, so is this a zombie movie?
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, it is. Wonder Woman 84 is also part of a part zombie movie. Part of what makes this movie great is how incredibly tropey it is.
Wait, how much shit they packed a lot of shit in this movie. I didn't even consider the whole zombie thing. Okay. Is that your argument?
Yeah.
Bad on purpose?
It was bad on purpose.
Okay. All right. Blake, how do you feel about this? The argument is that
do we really need to have a trial about this?
Both of them are arguing that it's a bad movie, but one of them saying it's good that it's bad. How do you feel about this?
Is there such a thing as it being a good thing that something is bad?
I'm sure there's instances. I don't know about in movies. Something.
Have you
Something
guys
that's
seen
so good
Napoleon
it's bad.
Dynamite?
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite. I like it.
That movie's
But
bad.
you know what? But it's good.
I don't know what to think right now.
Hold on, we don't like Napoleon. Got it. Ellis, how do you feel about Napoleon Dynamite? Real quick.
Love it.
Oh, very impressive.
It is also I also believe it is a movie that is quote unquote bad, but really good. I do believe it fits in that category. And I do believe that that film is 100% intentional. It was never intended to be bad, but it was intended to break not tropes, because he's going to be throwing that word around even though he doesn't know what it means. But like, it was intended to break like what everybody else was doing and be different. And that's what made it great.
Yeah, I agree. I love that
Yeah.
movie.
I'm right up there with you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm ready,
Fucking
willing, and
boring.
able to pants all of the stupid shit he just said whenever you want me to. All right. But I think it's pretty clear that if his argument is this movie is bad and it was made bad on purpose, okay, and then I'm going to throw around a bunch of words that disrespect some great fucking films and then compare them to this piece of shit, and that's why you should watch it. I say nay. I say nay to you, sir. Shame on you. It's disrespectful, Mikey. I can't believe you said that.
Wow, what'd you say, Mikey?
He said that the Donner movies were bad. The Donner movies are fucking classics and amazing films.
Terrible.
Amazing films. If you're talking about the first and maybe the second Superman movie, that is what the modern superhero movie is based on. When you do a superhero movie, you're just redoing Superman with a new character. And that's what they did in the comic books for years and years. Those movies were at the cutting edge of storytelling and special effects at their time. And those movies satisfied generations of people. And then you were going to say if they were made intentionally bad, those movies were made with love.
No, those movies were made with love. They were just bad movies.
Those movies are phenomenal, especially at the time. Those were cutting edge movies. You know what I'm saying? And you were just swimming in the sack at the time, so you don't fucking get it. And then you want to talk about the Snyderverse, bruh? What? You're saying Man of Steel is garbage compared to this movie? And it's just like the Donnerverse? No, they did that movie with that other guy, and he had a baby mom.
Objection. I never said this movie was better than Man of Steel.
You said Man of Steel was made in the Donnerverse spirit or some shit. No, they are not.
I said Man of Steel was based on the Donnerverse. I said Man of Steel was based off the original. It is it is absolutely.
It is not. That's once again you showing you don't know what the hell you're talking about. This Superman's cause of destruction, his willingness to kill Zod, this view of the entire Snyderverse. When you start to go into Batman's willingness to kill at the drop of a hat, the Snyderverse is distinctly different from the Dark Knight verse and distinctly different from the Donnerverse. There's no blood. Everybody's homies. Everything's okay in the Donnerverse.
The story is the same, though. The story is the same, just told
because
differently.
It's based on the comic book. Because it's based on the comic book. That's what happened.
Hey! We can keep talking, but I'm getting bored. So please continue what you're saying in an English accent.
Good call, Your Honor.
Righto, chap. This motherfucker. This righto prick here.
You
to my left.
bloody Boston.
You cranky old
Now you're just making noises.
You've been croaking. You've been croaking. You've been
Crikey's Australian.
Well, I didn't fucking know. Okay.
God, you guys fucking suck. Shut up. Okay.
I don't have an English accent, Your Honor.
Christ.
I'm doing a Spanish accent.
Is there a way they can both lose this, Your Honor?
Man of Steel is based on that on fucking Superman and 1 and 2. Right. Absolutely.
It is not.
This is feeling off topic. Why don't we argue the movie at
Your Honor, can we get a judgment on here though? That Man of Steel is based on a comic book character named Superman. And the Donnerverse Superman is also based on a character named Superman. But the vision of those two are completely different. For you to think, I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Man of Steel is based in any way on the Donnerverse? Do you guys think that at all?
It's been a long time since I've seen those movies. But
I would say that it's kind of irrelevant to the task at hand. The point is that as they stand as independent movies, is what happened before and after really relevant to the quality of a movie in its singular form? And I don't think that applies.
Well, I think it applies
So
is he
if we're
saying all
talking
these
about Wonder
movies
Woman
suck?
84, I don't understand how an old movie, you could say it's made in that vein and it's campy, that's an argument, but all this debate on all this movie, whether it was good or whether it influenced, I don't know that it necessarily matters because the movie objectively is good or bad.
I think it shows that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And number two, if you want to accept the opinion of somebody who goes, "Oh, Man of Steel is bad," and the Donner movies are also bad, that all of these movies are bad, then why would you take that person's opinion?
These movies.
If his argument is these legendary films suck, so you should listen to me and watch Wonder Woman 1984, then why are we listening to him? I guess that's my argument.
It's an interesting point. Mikey, do you have a rebuttal to that?
Those movies do suck. Those movies are not. Those movies. No, hang on. Because those movies, when they came out, it was the first time. Those were the movies that made people like believe a man can fly or whatever the fuck, right? So those movies came out and like they were really great for the time. But if you go back and you rewatch them, like they aren't very good. They don't make sense. Superman fucking flies around the earth to turn back time doesn't fucking make sense at all. And that gets brought in Wonder Woman 1984. One of the points that people don't like about like, oh, you have to touch them to get their wish, but then he uses the particles and the particles touch them and it's close enough. He says it doesn't have to make sense. It's close enough. And that is like a wink to the idea that fucking these movies don't have to make sense. They're good enough because you're not telling a story based on plot points and description. You're telling an emotional story. And that's what the fucking Donnerverse movies were. They were telling the emotions of characters.
You're saying something can be objectively bad, but subjectively good.
No,
like
the
Superman movies are in retrospect, you're saying,
bad.
Shut up, I'm talking. So you're saying in retrospect, the Superman movies, the old ones, are objectively bad when we look back on them. But at the time, they were praised and loved because at the moment that they were made, they were subjectively good and enjoyable. Now, if you're making that argument, I don't understand how that applies to Wonder Woman 84.
I'm saying more Wonder Woman.
What superhero symbol is this?
What symbol?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Why are we talking so much about Superman then?
It's a great question, Bailiff.
Yeah, Mikey.
I turned it back to. I brought it back to Wonder Woman
so that you can push your point. Order in the court. Christ. Back to the movie at hand. Superman does not seem relative to me to this point. It doesn't. I don't understand. I'm ruling that it doesn't matter if it's subjectively bad, subjectively good, because that's the argument is Wonder Woman in the moment. If your argument is that in the future we might look back on it and think it's good, opposite of the way that Superman was, then I don't see how that's relevant. So let's argue about the movie at hand, huh? Does anyone have any arguments? What about this movie, Mikey, do you like? What is your favorite part of this movie?
Good question, Your Honor.
I don't know. I just like how fucking campy and dumb it is.
What's your favorite?
Doesn't
part?
have a favorite part. Doesn't have a favorite part.
No, right? Don't speak out of turn, sir. What's your favorite part, Michael? Okay, Ellis, what's your favorite part?
Hang on. Let me think for a second. I have a favorite part. Just
Yeah, you can think while Ellis
There's a lot of
gives
fucking
an argument
parts,
against.
man.
All right,
fucking
then you
2.5
can go
hour
next.
long
Ellis.
movie.
Your
Ellis,
Honor.
give us your least favorite part. What's the worst part about it?
My least favorite part is a sequence in which Diana and her ex-boyfriend from World War I, who's now inhabiting someone else's body for no particular reason, decide that they need to go to the other side of the world. but they can't because he doesn't have a passport, even though he obviously does because he's in somebody else's body. But here nor there, they decide instead now they must steal a plane. And what kind of plane? A jet plane. A jet plane from where? From the museum where she works. Because at the museum where she works, they have a jet plane that has enough fuel to fly across the world.
Yeah.
That's already fueled next to a runway, and a pilot from World War I who was flying biplanes suddenly knows how to fly it. Only 5 minutes, like 2 minutes later, she reminds him, oh, they'll find us because there's radar, because he doesn't know what radar is. So she makes the plane invisible, which she says she's only been able to do once in a coffee cup. But now that she's depowered, she's suddenly able to do it, which also doesn't explain why they still can't see the plane on radar, because radar is not based on sight. That 5-minute segment right there.
Good point.
It's the entire movie just like, okay, there's a suspension of disbelief, and then there's just fuck you, there's just, what are we doing here?
Okay, Mikey, would you like to argue that point, or would you like to tell us your favorite part?
I enjoy that part, actually. I think it's
because it's the magic of love, or
I have no problem believing that he doesn't have a passport. I have no problem believing that he's not, like, that they maybe didn't find a passport because they weren't digging through all of his shit in the apartment. They were just going through his clothes.
I will say there's a lot of people that don't have passports. Possible.
That guy had a scarf at the end of the movie. That guy has a passport. That guy had a passport.
You don't know that.
And they lived in his house.
You can't definitively say that guy has a passport.
That was also DC.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure in DC in particular, you're more likely to have.
No, I'm with you, bro. I'll get the passport. Cool. The plane that they took, that plane can't make the flight they said they made.
I think if you watch the Wonder Woman show, there's the Wonder Woman show that clearly takes is part of what influences this movie. I think you can make that argument for a lot of instances where they use planes in that fucking show.
You're a child.
Well, this movie is for children. This movie isn't for adults. This movie is for children.
This is
the first one for adults.
Do they put sex scenes in movies for children now?
That's a good point, Bailiff. Isn't there a straight up bunch of sex? Not bunch of sex, but
Mikey, why are these guys even in charge? I mean, why are we subjected?
Excuse me.
But there's not like sex scenes. There's allusion to sex, but there aren't sex scenes.
Dude,
they wake up. They wake up in the bed and they're like clothed.
Mikey, can I ask you something? Can I ask you, like, homie to homie?
What's up?
Do you notice that you haven't said anything good about the movie? You're either defending things that I say are bad, or you're saying it's intentionally bad. You have yet to say one good thing. Your opening thing about why it's intentionally bad.
Because you don't shut the fuck up. You go on for like 5 fucking hours, man. And then I start saying shit, you just start cutting me fucking off. You don't let me get through my fucking thoughts. Jesus
He's sat here for 30 seconds waiting for you to come up with something good to say.
Okay. Stop trying to blow your green screen, Michael. Okay. You make a good point, Mikey.
Mikey, don't make me come over there.
I have given you 2 opportunities to lay something out without being interrupted, and you didn't have anything. So I'm going to give it to you again. What is the part that you like most about this movie? There's a few parts that I like most about this movie. I like the emotional story that's being told with Diana and Steve Trevor. I fucking love the story arc of Barbara and the way Kristen Wiig plays Barbara. A moment, a scene, or
where
the writing.
Well, okay, so moments that I like about the emotional story, I love when she first sees the dude and then he says the last words, like gives the last speech, and then all of a sudden she just sees him. I fucking love I love the moment where she realizes that she accepts that she
Can
has
you
to
please?
fucking leave.
Hey, let him
No,
talk.
for one
Let him
second.
talk.
For 1 second. For one,
No,
I don't.
no,
I'm not. I don't
no,
want to
no,
interrupt
no, no.
him in any way.
Let him talk.
I don't want to
talk.
interrupt you in any way.
As
I
you
didn't-
interrupt
That's exactly
me?
what you're doing. Hey,
I just want to do one thing. I just want to do thing. He just said,
Mikey, how close were you to finishing?
Not close at all.
So I just want to remember the scene. He said the scene where he sees the guy for the first time, and then what was that scene? I'm trying to remember what the scene. The thing. I don't want to interrupt
It's
you. I
the
just want you
scene.
to repeat
It's the
what you
scene
just
when
said.
they're at the party. It's the scene where they're at the party, and all of a sudden this dude is coming at her, and she's like, "Fucking not now." And then finally, and then he's just like, "I wish we had more time." She's like, "Oh, you don't get
Okay.
to say that to me." And then
When she
he
meets Steve
comes up-
Trevor in the other body.
all right.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
continue, Michael.
Sorry.
And then I really like the moment where she decides that she accepts that she has to let go of fucking this false wrong fucking idea that Steve Trevor can be alive again, because he can't be alive again. That's kind of like, that's cheating. That I love the way that this all connects back to that opening scene, because the opening scene of the movie is about her in this race, and she fails the race. And the reason she fails the race is because she keeps looking back. And so this entire movie is about Wonder Woman Diana Prince has to be able to move forward by stopping looking back. Her holding on to Steve Trevor is that metaphor. She keeps looking back at Steve Trevor. She's not actually moving forward in her life. And I like the way they told that story. I thought that was really well told.
Mikey, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color? Oh, I don't fucking know, dude.
No favorite color?
Tell the man your favorite
Green.
color.
Green?
With a question mark.
But that sounded. If you're watching this podcast and you're like, oh, I really want to watch Wonder Woman meet the love of her life in somebody else's body, and that excites you to go watch a movie, then by all means, this movie's for you. That is the exciting scene where Wonder Woman meets Steve Trevor in a random romantic comedies actor's body. Yeah.
So should I put you down for blue?
This movie is trash. This is easy.
This movie's intentionally bad.
This is the easiest argument I've ever had.
I also really like. I think this movie. I don't think this movie is bad. I think you just dislike the choices they made.
Hold
And
on.
I don't think that makes it a bad movie. I think that just makes you opinionated.
No,
Hold on. Does intentionally bad equal good though?
it does not.
Like, can it be intentionally bad and still just be a bad movie?
Well, yeah, it could. Like, if they could do it wrong, but I don't think they did it wrong.
So,
I think
but you
they
use
did it well.
you use that it's intentionally bad as a defense.
Have you seen him?
So shouldn't you explain why this movie is intentionally bad, which makes it good?
Yeah, if you're arguing that it's bad done good and not bad done bad, then you need to argue why it's. I don't know. I'm not following the argument. I'm with Blake.
I think it's intentionally bad. I think it follows tropes and poor plot point development in lieu of telling a story and trying to focus on fuck it. Man, fuck you, Ellis.
No, it's like you're on my side, bro. It's like
No, but you think
you're
it's
arguing
bad. This is good. You can't watch this and just fucking enjoy it.
No,
Be all
dude,
like,
can
oh,
you
haha,
please
that's
when you rewatch this and you say, look, I think they just ignore logic. They ignore character development. None of the
no,
bad
they
guys
focus
suffer
on
any
character
consequences.
development. They ignore logic and plot devices to focus on character development
They
and tell an
ignore
emotional story.
logic.
They tell a really good emotional story.
They ignore logic. This movie is awful, dude.
Okay, all right.
It was
It's
fucking
getting a little
great.
heated.
And I really didn't even get to say all of
Uh,
the things that really are bad about this movie.
I
That's the
didn't get to
thing.
say all the things that really are good about this movie.
We've given you a few. Okay, hold on. All right, let's do that then. But first, I would like both of you to compliment each other. Mikey, you go first.
Ellis, I like
cousin?
how strongly you hold on to your super bad opinions.
Wow.
Ditto. Ditto.
Hold on, come on. You got to do a real one.
Come on, tell him he has pretty eyes or something, Michael.
Compliment is
Ellis.
high.
Ellis, I like your laugh.
Aw.
Thank you.
Okay, Ellis, give Michael a compliment too.
You are currently my second favorite cousin.
Who the fuck's your first favorite cousin?
Drake, he just called me yesterday, man. It was really nice. And we started talking about Wonder Woman 84. And he was like, that movie fucking sucks. I was like, I know, right?
Yeah, fuck Drake.
Drake rules.
Drake a
You
secret.
know I love you, buddy. I just think, like, seriously, I don't even need to do any more work. I believe if you just go back over the tape of everything he said, he hasn't said anything that's good about the movie. His arguments are always, it's bad, but it's supposed to be bad. And they gave up this so that they could do this other thing, but they didn't do well. And also, you can do both. Movies come out all the time that pay attention to logic and don't have huge plot holes and have good, easy to understand stories where it's not about cheating, but it's also about dreams or people wishing. Like they just did all this garbage with this movie. And I think it's a disservice to Wonder Woman, because I think there might be a Wonder Woman 3, but like nobody's going to care anymore.
Well for Wonder Woman 3.
Nobody's going to care because this movie flopped so hard. And it doesn't fit into the Snyderverse or any of the other movies it's supposed to connect to. So it kind of takes the legs out from the whole universe. You know what I mean? It's an unfortunate miss. And if it's Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, at least the first 2/3 of it, was like the best female superhero movie that we've ever seen. And it's about fucking time. It's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman deserved to get a fucking badass movie. They gave us 2/3 of a good movie. We're like, oh shit, Wonder Woman 84. And this is uglier than Matt Gates. Web search history. I feel gross inside. I feel mad,
I don't know who that is.
All right. Well, I'd like to give Mike another opportunity. You said you have a lot of things that you like about this movie that you still haven't said. So I'd like to give you another opportunity. Mikey, what is something else? If you were trying to convince me that this movie is worth watching, if I haven't seen it, what is another point that you like? What is a moment or thing about this movie that you think is worth spending the time to see?
I love how much this movie just kind of feels like bad 80s movies. I love the character Barbara, the character development there. I love how it starts off with that, like, oh, she's unpopular and not cool and ugly because she has like big glasses and bad style and hair and she can't walk in heels and everybody forgets her so easily, which doesn't make sense.
Trope.
It's like, it's like the teen movies from the 90s where it's like, oh, she has paint covered overalls and ponytails and glasses, and then you take it all off. It's like, oh, she's super hot. I think they did that really well in this. I think they did it a little bit better because they kind of point out she just didn't carry herself with confidence. And that's a real difference between, and I think Kristen Wiig actually did that really well, where it's like, she's super awkward and clumsy in the beginning, but then all of a sudden her wish comes true. I like the way they did the wishes too. I like the way Barbara's wish was like a big moment. And I like the way that Diana, she didn't have to say her wish. You knew what her wish was, because that was the big moment from Steve Trevor's death scene in the first one. Like, I wish we had more time. That she picked it up and just kind of offhand said it. She didn't even directly say, like, I want Steve Trevor back. She didn't think it would fucking work. And it just happened. And so now she's forced to confront these feelings. I also really like the villain, the Pedro Pascal villain, because I really like the way he hit that villain. I like I like how like awkward and intense, but like fucking desperate that character was. And I love that it was like an oil scheme, it's very reminiscent of like fucking Lex Luthor always coming around with a fucking real estate scheme.
Hey, Mikey, is it possible for you to finish your defense of the movie without another F word?
Fucking no.
Hey.
Hey.
My vice
I
judge
will come over
stop
there.
dropping F bombs. Vice judge.
What?
I like that. You're my vice judge, Blake. That's what a bailiff is.
I like
right?
it.
All right.
Yeah, close enough.
How about you give me some too then? Mikey took a moment, whether you want to respond to Mikey or give us another reason that you think this movie is not worth our time.
You're not going to find a quote from anybody that worked on this movie saying that they intended to make a bad movie. And I think it shows a lack of perspective. If you're going to look back on bad 80 movies, you mean 80s movies that people still watch to this day that maybe don't have a modern sensibility, so you're quote unquote calling them bad, but these were great movies. And Wonder Woman 1984 did not capture anything that's great about those movies, and it's essentially the opposite of everything he just fucking said. You like the wishes? It's the lamest plot device of all time. And then number two, none of the wishes work the same way ever. Like, how does he figure out I want to be the stone so I can give the witches? How did he figure that out? They don't mention it, but that's fine. How come she gets to be like Wonder Woman, but then she gets a second wish to be like Cheetah? But I thought you only get one wish. And how come he has people wishing for shit all the time? Why doesn't he just wish that somebody says you don't get sick when you grant wishes? Why doesn't somebody, what you're telling me everybody in the whole world, all of the people who wish that their children stopped having leukemia in that moment said, yeah, I renounce my wish? Because there's no way. It's not just like plot holes and stuff. Like, how come it's always a gives and it takes, right? So it gives her boyfriend, but it puts him in a different body, right? So then she just, basically rapes that guy for the rest of the movie. That's cool. But then on top of that, she's also losing her powers. Which one is it? And if she can make walls appear out of nowhere, then it should have gave her boyfriend in his original World War I body, and then she started losing her powers. And what does that mean she's losing her powers? Because from scene to scene, she can do phenomenal feats that we've never seen her do before.
That's a good point.
Or she's bulletproof. There's nothing in this movie that's kind of whatever. And the overall story is that this woman who is referenced again in the new Snyderverse is to be about 6,000 years old, still has a whiny high school girl crush on a man she spent a week with 80 years ago. Now, not only do I not find a 6,000-year-old woman that heartbroken over the one fucking penis she saw in her life, you know what I mean? Especially when she's constantly surrounded by new suitors, if that's what she wants. But number two, I think it's disrespectful to Wonder Woman. She's kind of a feminist. She's kind of a feminist icon. And if her main story is I'm pining over some guy, you missed the mark.
So she's a feminist. She can't have feelings.
Hold on, I've got a question.
She can't have feelings that she's never. Wait.
You're not.
She can't have feelings that she's never.
What I just said. Being a feminist doesn't mean you don't have feelings.
But that's what I'm saying. You're saying like she's supposed to be this feminist, but she still has this.
Cool
will you let me talk for a second?
Slow it down.
Don't put words in my mouth.
No, calm it down.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting fucking words in your mouth. I'm explaining what you just fucking said.
You said, "Are you saying?"
You said she's a feminist, so she saws a whiny crust. That's fucking.
So she can't have.
Put her in my court.
Fuck yeah!
You need to calm down.
She's a feminist, so she can't have feelings. No.
Okay, everyone, quiet down. Thank you, bailiff. No, hold on. In this instance, you both have valid points. I have a question that I'd like to ask, though, that actually applies to both of you. Because it's been a while since I've seen the first movie. Does Wonder Woman sleep with Trevor in the first movie?
Like, you're the best. What movie?
Does Wonder Woman sleep with Trevor in the first Wonder Woman movie?
Yes.
For sure?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And then she sleeps with him in the second one when he's in a different body. So not one, but two dicks.
And there may or may have been some after that, because she stays in the man's world after him.
Actually, no, there hasn't.
Yeah, and we're talking what, 60 years?
was no one
60,
after?
70 years?
80
This
years,
character, this character is very much written out so to show that she has not been with another man since Steve Trevor.
Well, you don't know.
And I think
Casual? She didn't have a casual fling?
No,
You
that's
lived
not
through the
Diana
60s,
Prince.
bro.
That's
She
not how
didn't go to
Diana Prince
Woodstock.
operates.
She didn't go to
No.
Woodstock, drop some acid, have a romp with.
And then why are you
That's
talking
true.
about, like,
She
how
was
you know how
alone through
Diana
the
Prince
summer of
operates?
love.
You know how she doesn't operate? Caring about dudes. Wonder Woman in the comic book, she has romances, more than one. And you know what? She doesn't pine over dudes. I'm telling you, that's not part of her character.
This isn't Wonder Woman from the comic books. This is Wonder Woman in a new medium.
Now it's a new medium.
Weren't you
Okay.
saying the Snyderverse Superman was made to be out of vein from Superman in that he kills and he carries around with him mass destruction? Wasn't that an argument you made? So this is Wonder Woman not
Mikey.
connected to the Wonder Woman from the comic books. This is a
good model. The new Wonder Woman needs a man. What a great message.
She doesn't need a man, but she can have feelings.
No, but
for
she almost
gave
up her powers and her responsibility.
She didn't even realize she was making the real wish.
The story.
And the entire story is her when she realizes slowly over the development of this
that she doesn't need a man.
No,
what a great story. What a great story for a feminist icon.
These are things the watcher could decide
a
for
story,
themselves.
A story about Wonder Woman that revolves around her love for some guy. What a beautiful story for a feminist icon.
These are subjective, and it could be applicable to different people and how they interpret this.
Because that's what women care about. Women care about men. And they care about their love for their men and their romance.
This woman cares about this man.
She cares about this man because she just loves him.
Okay. All right.
Maybe she'll save the world.
The entire first movie was a love story that ended with this dude fucking proving to her that some men can be good, and he goes off and sacrifices himself.
Some of the first movie was a love story. Okay. Mostly it was about Wonder Woman discovering.
Order in my court. Okay, calm down. Let's keep moving, guys.
And that's
he said order.
Order in the court. Let's start wrapping things up here. I think you guys have made some really valid arguments.
No, we haven't.
Some few more than others.
That last argument was fucking terrible, Your Honor.
I'd like to
honestly, both of your last arguments were the best arguments yet. That your opponent has not come up with any good arguments.
And also, I am not Your Honor to you, Michael. I asked you to respectively call me
Cruella Gaville. My apologies, Cruella Gaville. It's a fantastic name.
Thank you. Now, I think we should go to closing statements. I forgot who did the opening statement.
I believe I opened.
Was you? Okay.
I believe I opened, Your Honor.
I don't know if...
Your Highness.
You know what? I'll let it go. Let's have Ellis close first because Mikey's the one making the defense here. I'll give him the final word. And then I will make a ruling. And that will be the end of this. People will make the decision on their own. Go ahead, Ellis. Give us your final closing statement of this film. And
you shouldn't watch this. You shouldn't watch this movie because it sucks. Okay? By his own defense, it sucks on purpose. Okay? So he's not saying it doesn't suck. All right? But I'm also telling you too, if you like Wonder Woman from the comics, the original, like the core of the character, I don't think that this movie does a good job of showing you what that is. So I think it makes the series as a whole less than. I also don't think you should watch it because it makes the DCU suck. Okay, and it's very confusing when you watch movies that come out later. She suddenly doesn't know how to make things invisible. She suddenly can't fly. She still needs Flash to point her sword to her instead of just going down, getting it, flying back up. Right? It's totally out of sequence, and it's a horrible movie. And the 3 reasons why you shouldn't watch it: number 1, all of his arguments are it sucks and he likes it, and all of these great films from the past, they suck. So who cares? Everything sucks, I guess. And then number 2, it's 2.5 hours. Like Invincible is out. You know what I mean? There's 4 episodes. Catch up on that. Binge on anything else. Why would you waste your time on a trash movie? And then also, you've seen this before. The special effects don't make a ton of sense. There's nothing spectacular in this fight. It's got some pretty good actors with horrible lines and horrible dialogue. So you can see those actors doing better work and other things. And none of this is going to carry on. This movie is so trash. And then also, too, we're talking about, throwing out these movies about where this movie is. Did you like Catwoman? Did you like Green Lantern? If you enjoyed those films, you're going to love Wonder Woman 84. I think this is like a Green Lantern. You know, it's Ryan Reynolds. You're watching Ryan Reynolds. You're like, I like Ryan Reynolds. And you survive it. Okay. But no one goes back and rewatches it. Everybody agrees it's trash. That's where it belongs, right next to 1984. It's a movie that everybody involved in is embarrassed to be a part of, and they will shoot in the head in another movie if they ever had the chance. And that is my case. Save yourself the time.
All right. Thank you, Ellis.
Not bad.
Mikey?
Ooh, I'm gonna get winter pussy tonight. So I'm just gonna watch this. And I'm gonna be like, that asshole was right.
Maybe.
This
I'm
movie-
expecting to get laid on the wig alone.
This movie was made with poorly developed plot devices on purpose, and I enjoy it. This movie in regards to the DCEU and saying it ruins the DCEU. The DCEU was already ruined. Most of those movies are bad movies. Most of those movies have serious fucking problems with them. This is pretty much on par. This movie is better than the Green Lantern and Catwoman. The Invisible Cup makes sense to me because she's fucking Wonder Woman. She does all these spectacular feats even though she's losing powers, because anything she does with any amount of power is spectacular because she's fucking Wonder Woman. She never flies past this. How do you know that? Maybe she didn't need to fly in those movies, so you don't see her fly. But there's a lot of fucking time, so maybe she flew outside of the realms of these movies. And I went back and I rewatched the 4 Superman movies. Those movies, I didn't watch those movies like, oh wow, these are incredible movies. I watched these movies giggling the entire time because they're fucking bad. And this movie was made to be in the vein of those. I enjoy the emotional story of this movie. I think it's told really well. And I think it all just kind of went over the head of that asshole who is just giggling. He just giggles the entire time. It's so rude. Fuck you,
to be
Ellis.
fair, we're laughing at your hat and tie. All right.
Those are my closing statements.
I love your hat and tie. I love it. This is
All
great,
right.
man.
You
You're
do
great.
look like you're applying for a job at a fast food restaurant. And
No,
that's
man. I could work
If I ever
a
have
fucking
to go to
grill.
like real court, I hope you're whoever's coming after me. Like I hope.
I don't fucking.
You mean you wouldn't want this guy defending you in real court?
Look, man. He's like, look, they did it. Okay. Yeah, they made a shitty movie, but they meant to make a shitty movie.
all right. I think
Yeah,
that-
sure,
And I
Ellis is
like
guilty. But-
Nope.
I think Blake and I
That's
can-
not old.
can figure this out real quick if we talk real quick. Blake, would you agree with me that the ruling on this should follow in a couple of ways? If you have the opportunity to see this movie in a movie theater, it is not worth spending the money to go see. Agreed?
No.
If you see this
Agreed.
movie for
So,
rent on a streaming service for any amount of money, it is not worth your time and money. Correct?
correct.
Correct. If you have nothing else to do and are looking, you feel like you've watched a lot of other stuff and are looking for something different, or you have an itch of curiosity and this movie is available streaming somewhere for free, then you may feel free to watch it.
Agreed.
I believe.
What about if you're
Hold on,
scrolling
hold
through
on.
channels on cable?
If it's on cable or if it's playing on an airline flight, I would rule that it might be worth seeing just to know that you've seen it.
Airline flight.
Yes, if you are, I feel like the big thing that I'm ruling on is if it's free streaming on Netflix or something and you have nothing to do and you just jerked off and you're kind of in a weird mood and you're ready to go.
Yeah. If
I would not
there's
say-
nothing else to watch.
I would say depending on where your mood is, go ahead and watch this movie. If you feel like you want some real valid entertainment, maybe
But you will be less than. You will.
what
yeah.
kind of entertainment you're looking for.
Your
If
Honor,
you're looking to watch something bad, then this is your movie.
let me ask you something. Was your life improved by watching this movie? Like, do you feel, do you feel like your life could be I feel like everyone's life that doesn't watch this movie is better for it.
That sounds like a whole other trial, but in general, I think I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless, again, as Judge Rodolphe said, you
Cruella
have
Gaville.
nothing better to do for 2.5 hours. No, only you have to call
Only
them
you.
Cruella Gaville.
Say my name, Mikey.
Cruella Gaville.
Thank you. Continue, Bailiff. Blakeliff.
Anyway, yes, if you have 2.5 hours to kill and it costs you literally nothing to watch the movie, might as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. If you have nothing else to do, no video games to replay or anything like that,
No
then it
books
might
to
be worth
read.
watching.
There's not a pamphlet in front of you. Like
Us, on particular, have taken
Yeah.
hours and hours of not only watching the movie, but preparing this.
but the
This is-
time.
And to
the
us,
time.
was it all worth
This
it?
is
amount
my
of-
ruling. There are many that may be akin to Mikey that find these arguments compelling, and for those
They're
people,
not.
feel free to watch. For those of you that are casual viewers of the superhero franchises, like myself and my vice judge Blake, then I would say it's not really
promoted.
worth your time unless you're scraping the end of the barrel because you've watched all the other ones and you have nothing else to do. That is my ruling.
I've
For
rented
big
the
fans that
movie.
made it. What's that?
I've watched this movie 4 times. I've rented this movie. I will likely buy this movie. I enjoy this movie.
All right. Well, the production company made their $20 thanks to Mikey. I'm sure they'll be recouping their losses real soon. You keep fucking renting it.
I'll keep.
You don't get to
I
write
will.
that off
You
as
know
a
what? That's a good
business
point.
expense.
I need to support this movie, so instead of buying it, I should just rent it every time I want to watch it.
Well,
Yikes.
but that money goes to who you're renting it through, not to Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it goes. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think
That's
some
not-
of it. I think some of it does, right? Oh no, because it's renting.
I'm pretty
You buy
sure they
the
just
movie,
buy
then
the
you-
rights up front, and then you pay
Yeah.
Apple or HBO. Or
I think
whatever.
you're better off just going to the
Yeah.
studio and then just spending over for them so that they know. You know, it's better just giving them.
That's
nice
a
little
good. You know
parking
what?
spot
That's a
like
good
that.
idea. I'm
That's
gonna go to
better.
Warner Brothers this weekend,
Yeah,
and
just
I'm just
hang
gonna
out.
bend
Yeah.
over.
I'll
And I'll
take
just
you
be
to the
like,
lot, dude. Yeah.
"Okay, yeah, you want to go? Let's go. It'll be fun. It'll be a road trip."
Okay. Wear your hat though. All right.
I am my time.
Yeah,
I'm
same
gonna dress just like
outfits.
this.
I don't know if it was fun to watch, but it was fun to hang with you guys. I miss you
Our
guys.
ruling has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of this, and that was fun.
I'm glad Mikey didn't cry.
Remove the hat. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, who's talking us out of this? Thanks for joining us, everyone. We want to do some plugs real quick.
I want to plug Fat Tango Presents, and I want to plug our Instagram, Fat Tango Production, at Fat Tango Productions on Instagram, and our Twitter account at Fat Tango Podcast. And those are my plugs.
I'll plug at Matt Tango on Twitter, at Matt Rodolphe on Twitter, at Matt Tango on TikTok. You can also, I'll do this for Mikey since he forgot. You can also check out the podcast Mikey and I do called They Might Be Bronies, where the two of us watch every episode of My Little Pony and are on a quest to find out if we might be bronies.
I got artwork to do for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah, man.
podcast.
Do some
You
artwork.
and Matt got a podcast called The Bronies?
Yeah,
They might be bronies.
Oh man.
They'll have to come on. It'd be pretty hilarious if you jump on and watch a random episode and then jump on and rip it apart.
No, we'll get in an argument. I'll be like, this episode of My Little Ponies is garbage. And this is why."
Honestly, Ellis, some of these in-depth, lore-filled episodes with big, beautiful arcs, you're going to find more compelling than Wonder Woman.
I'll bro down with you.
You can also check out, like I'm sure Blake will plug it too, but you can check out me and Blake have a podcast called Family Records, where we just talk about family stories and drink whiskey and have people on. We'll have to have both you guys on eventually.
Oh, I was on an episode of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you
you
were just
were.
kind of running the boards. We'll have to have you on for an actual Mikey interview where we get some
Oh
real
yeah.
stuff from you.
Well, running the boards and getting made fun of by our guests.
Yeah, my mom was pretty relentless with you, Mikey. She
Yeah,
really
your mom's
enjoyed
cool,
tearing
though.
into Mikey too. All right.
Pretty sure she called you some things in Spanish.
I mean, I want to plug a few ladies, but I don't want to drop their names here. It would be inappropriate. Just find me, Ellis Rodriguez. I'm easy to find.
Right on. All right.
I got shows coming up. They're opening
Nice.
everything. Sacramento opens up. California, California opens up June 15th.
Yeah, man.
That's word on the street, man.
I'm going to get my first vaccine shot today.
Yeah. Everybody start working out. That's just in time for the summer bod. You know what I mean? You want to come out hard out of quarantine.
Yeah.
Start doing your crunches.
Yeah, I've totally been doing that all winter.
Yeah, me too.
Indoor cardio, man. That's where it's at.
June
I'm on that
15th, I'm hitting
keto
the ground.
diet.
Yeah.
All right. I guess, Blake, you want to close us out? Give us some plugs.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at Blake Sweet Comic. I occasionally use TikTok at BSBS Comedy. I think we've
You are a sweet comic, too.
plugged all of our stuff.
It's really nice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Do we know what we're doing next week or next episode?
We should talk about that after we sign off here.
All right.
Well,
That's behind the
If we already
scenes
got a
stuff.
plan, we could build hype.
yeah.
All right, fine.
We'll try and get
It's
ahead
going to
of the
be
curve.
amazing, though. It's going to be riveting.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe Mikey's going to take that stance next week. Yeesh.
It's not going to be us yelling at each other. I'm done with the yelling.
Yeah, no, this time it's going to be me and Mikey yelling at each other.
I don't want to yell anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to fucking.
I'm over
I don't
the
want to
yelling.
be in
Do
this
you feel
position
broken
again.
inside, Mikey?
We got to do something.
Yeah, a little.
fun
I
next
just.
time.
This wasn't
This was too
necessarily
easy.
enjoyable
This was
for
taking
me.
candy from a baby. This
Yeah,
was,
we'll do
Fuck
some
you.
trivia or
I
something.
thought I thought it would be fun, but you put up no fight. You're like, my argument is this movie sucks, but it's supposed to suck. Everything sucks. It didn't ruin those movies. Those movies
Dude,
already
this
sucked.
this movie wasn't the Wonder Woman that we needed right now, but it's the Wonder Woman we deserve.
It's a
All
Wonder
right,
Woman.
this has
Wonder
been
Woman.
For To Tango. We're going to sign off before we start all this over again.
Yeah.
All right.
fine.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
This has been a Fat Tango production.